So I've been having this it's an argument. Let's call it what it is. I've been having this argument with some guy on the internet, some person I never met before. For all I know, it could be an AI robot that's just reading my replies and trying to come up with the steel man to every single thing that I say or pivot away from what I'm talking about. You have a choice. You have a choice. I have a choice. I don't believe in determinism. And let me tell you something. Even if determinism is true, even if it is, then there's no point in trying to figure out whether or not it's true. Okay? Because it's an outside source that controls everything, supposedly, if in fact determinism is true. What I do believe is that you, the viewer, whatever your name is, you have the opportunity of a lifetime, regardless of whether or not there's a God, regardless of whether or not there's objective morality or objective truth, or everything's just a chemical reaction and we're all just a bunch of clump of cells on a small little dirt ball in the Milky Way galaxy. Regardless, you have the opportunity to do something with your life. No matter how terrible, no matter how crappy, no matter how much trauma you've gone through, no matter how many times that you've been put on the bench and told to wait your turn, you have an opportunity. You can live. There are so many people right now, so many people in the world who are born without limbs, who are born with such a weak organ that they require assistance just to breathe. People that have debilitating brain dysfunctions that prevent them from having normal lives, and they would give anything to have the opportunity just to live a normal life. Just to live a normal life. Now look, we're in a shitty situation. Make no mistake, the US of A is not the US of A anymore. It's not. Every time I try and wrap my head around it, the truth is that the America that somebody grew up with 30 or 40 or 50 years ago is not the same America today. It isn't. But you still have air in your fucking lungs. If you still got strength in your legs and you can walk, if you still got grip in your hands, you can change your life. You can unequivocally, undeniably change your quality of living. Even if it takes you 5 years or 10 years or 15 years. We don't know what our timetable is. Yeah, you don't know if you're going to live to 120. You don't know that. I don't know that. But I also don't know that I'm not going to live that long. I don't know. Physiologically, biologically, it's possible. Yeah, I could get struck by lightning. Yeah, I could get hit by a car. But I don't live my life like that on the day-to-day. So why would I live my life like that in long-term strategy and tactics in regards to how I want to live my life? Why would I? It's illogical. Paradoxical, even. Look. There are some things that I've realized over the last couple of years. We live in a shell of a society where everyone just beats you with a whip socially if you are considered a uneconomical asset, or you're not married, or you don't have kids, or you don't have a girlfriend. I'm 25 years old. I don't own a house. I have to pay for where I live with pretty much no ROI for the time being. There have been nights where I've literally considered living in a heavy-duty sleeping bag. Just buy some acres 15 miles from town, as cheap as I can. Set up a tarp and a platform to elevate me, and then that's where I sleep every night. I've considered that. And if it comes to that, I'm still going to enjoy and live my life. I'm still going to try my damnedest to find someone who wants me and will be willing to marry me and have my kids, someone that I can trust. And I'm going to try my damned hardest. I'm still going to train every single day because in the unlikely event that someone's life is dependent upon my physical ability, I'm going to make sure I put in the work and the blood, the sweat and the tears prior to the event happening. Okay, that's a huge reason I train. Yeah, it's also a lot of vanity. Okay, don't get me wrong. I train for vain reasons. 100%. I absolutely train because I want to get women to be attracted to me. Okay? And, in of itself, that's just kind of vain. But I also do it because I want to find a woman who has the ability to recognize the amount of years I put into my body and for her to be like, oh, hey, that guy takes his health very seriously. I'm going to go ahead and give him a shot. Okay? It's all interconnected. Life isn't hopeless. It's not. I understand. Okay, I understand. I've been forced to live a very empathetic and compassionate lifestyle for many years. I've been basically forced by circumstances to be understanding of other people's infirmities and other people's illnesses and other people's debilitations. Okay? For years, I was freaking basically sick, like a sick kid. Like I couldn't run, I couldn't sprint, I needed an inhaler for everything. I never would have thought that I was going to eventually be able to run 19 miles without stopping. I never thought I was going to be able to enlist in the fucking Marine Corps. These are things that, frankly, if I had gone with all of the mainstream stuff from my early years on, would not have happened. The only reason those things did happen was because I took steps. I took steps over and over again to make my life better. Okay? I became inquisitive. I became curious. I wanted to figure out if there was a different way for me to do things. And I kept doing it. And I kept doing it. And I kept doing it. And I was wrong 1,000 times until I was finally right. Okay? You could be wrong 1,000 times until you're finally right. Even if the odds are 1,000,000 to 1, which, by the way, the odds were 1,000,000 to 1 for you being born, just so you know. So you're here, okay? You're alive. Did you not ask to be born? Yeah, sure you didn't ask to be born. But do you know how many millions of kids were aborted? They never even got the chance because they were considered poor timing or, just a problem that needed to be, thrown away. You have the opportunity to live a good life. There are so many people in the world who would give anything to be in America. There are so many people in the world who would give anything to have the rights and the privileges that we as Americans have, despite the fact that the US of A is not what it used to be. That's my point. That's my point. I'm being pragmatic here. I'm being realistic. I'm not being hopeful. I'm not being hopelessly optimistic or unrealistically optimistic. I'm being pragmatically optimistic. Okay? I know that if I continually put in the work and I continually put in the effort, I will eventually get somewhere. Okay? That's how life is. You just got to keep trying. And I understand if you want to quit. And I am not going to hate you and I'm not going to shame you. I'm not going to think I'm better than you. Lord, I don't think I'm better than anyone. I don't think that's how it works. Okay? Life is tough. It always has been tough, man. Okay? It always has been. We're facing some real weird times. Very weird times. I admit that. I acknowledge it. Digital media, online corn, all of this crap, freaking... They're putting chemicals in the water to chemically castrate boys before they even have a chance to become men. They're fed goy slop from their earlier years on because that's all their parents can afford, and their parents don't know what the proper human diet even is because no one ever told them. I don't blame them. I don't blame anyone for quitting. Okay? I don't. But do not tell everyone else to quit. You can't know that. There's no way at all that you can unequivocally know that there's no hope and that we should all quit. Because if you really thought that, you wouldn't even be preaching it. You already would have quit. You would be hiding away in some hole and waiting until you died. Okay? That's what would happen if you really quit. All of you guys who are cynics and you just want to give up, Listen, I don't shame you. I don't hate you. I don't despise you. I don't think I'm better than you. I don't. Okay? If you want to quit, that's your business. Because human beings have autonomy. We have free will. But don't rag on others. Don't tell all the young, impressionable guys who still have aspirations in life that they should just give up and quit. If you want to give them realistic and applicable advice, absolutely do that. But don't tell young men to just quit and that it's hopeless, because it's not. It's not. Don't give up.